Back at it again, Scott Smith. You know what time it is. It's time for the top 100 East Texas players of 2023. If this is not your first video, which I'm talking to y'all anyway, if this is your first video, you'll figure it out. It ain't that hard to figure out. Just go to look over there on the side and go look at the other videos that are real similar to this one. You can go back and find 50 through 41, and you can go back and find 60 through 51, and so on and so on. This is number 40 through 31, the top 40 East Texas players. 40 through 31 coming at you this list. So let's get into it right away at number 40. Senior cornerback from Mount Pleasant, Latreon Thompson. He is a Utah signee, and this dude is a ball player. This guy can get it done. He's very physical. That's number one. He's a very physical football player. He is trying to jar you away from the ball every time he touches you, whether that's the run game or pass game. Next thing about him, he's very good in man-to-man coverage. He sticks to you like glue. You ain't turning without him turning you. Sometimes he's running the route for the receivers, which is a great film study and also great coaching on top of that. But just physical, takes on one-on-one blocks and tries to destroy them. Meets people at the line of scrimmage. When he presses you, he tries to take you out of the picture, try not to get you off of the line of scrimmage. Really good football player, and they signed with Utah. And if you've been paying attention to the college football world, you know how good Utah is and how good they've been over the last 5 or 6 years. So this is, and probably even longer than that, but this is a big signee from Mount Pleasant, and very, very interested in seeing what comes out of this guy. You know, if you take off at Utah, you're probably going to be a pro. So we could be looking at one of those guys right here at number 40, Latreon Thompson. At number 39, senior defensive end from Texas High, Taquan Black. And Taquan Black doesn't have like this crazy stat line. He's got 39 tackles, 5 sacks, 3 interceptions, and 2 forced fumbles. And those 3 interceptions ought to let you know exactly what kind of player you're dealing with in this guy here. A very savvy football player, but this guy is a bullet off of the edge. He is tough to deal with in run blocking, and he can flash through gaps quickly. You can't relax when you're blocking a guy like this. If you give him high pass, he's going through your chest. If you give him the outside, he'll go past you in a heartbeat. If you give him inside, he'll duck inside of you quickly. He's a big-time ball player. Made a lot of big-time plays for Texas High. Co-defensive lineman of the year for the district. One of those guys that were feared throughout the district, and a really good football player. Really good with his hands, and just one of those guys that will be remembered as being one of those edge players like Clayton Smith, Derek Brown. He just joins the list of those guys who have been really good for Texas High over the past 4 or 5 years. At number 39, senior defensive end, Taquan Black. At number 38, senior defensive end from Pine Tree, the co-defensive lineman of the year with Black, Quinten Clark. And Quinten Clark, a lot of the physical characteristics from Black come over here to Quinten Clark. He's a little bit taller, but they both have extremely good get off. Clark is muscular built, man, very, very great physique, as you see it from a defensive lineman. Can ricochet off of people, and fantastic effort. Played really hard. Sometimes you think he was blocked, and then he would come out, find a way to go make a tackle 5 yards away from him because he just played with relentless effort. Really good in pursuit, took great angles, got to the quarterback, got behind the line of scrimmage, made a lot of tackles for loss. Anytime they call you the best defensive lineman of the year, you know you're on the board. You know the offensive line coaches talked crazy about you to the offensive lineman all week about how you're not going to ruin the game. And nonetheless, Quinten Clark did it every week. Really, really good football player from Pine Tree, and comes in here at the list at number 38. At number 37, senior strong safety from Longview, Daedrion Garrett, the Tulsa signee, comes in here, and then right away you can see that Garrett is a football player. Man, he comes down and delivers huge hits all the time. I think probably he's a better linebacker. I think he should probably gain 15, 20 pounds. He's going to do what Trayvon Howard did at TCU and become an all-time tackler there at Tulsa. But nonetheless, he does have coverage skills. He is a guy that can turn and rotate his hips and flip and go find the football and knock it down. 3 interceptions, 7 pass breakups for a guy that made the most out of every opportunity when the ball did go his way. Buddha, a leader, a captain, really smart guy, could have been an Ivy League type of student, and just just one of those guys that's been a consistent and strong point of a Longview defense over the past 3 seasons. Buddha Garrett's just one of those guys. Coming in here at number 37, Tulsa signee Buddha, Daedrion Buddha Garrett. At number 36, senior wide receiver / strong safety from Daingerfield, Aeryn Bubba Hampton. And Hampton comes in, he's a 3-time member of this list, was in the 60s as a sophomore, probably too low, number 10 as a junior, and then he takes a step back in production as a senior, but that lands him right here at number 36. And you're talking about a guy that is just an absolute dynamic player. As a safety, he was a hard hitter, big tackler, 106 tackles, which is huge from him, because usually, and not that he hasn't been physical in this play, but just, I mean, that's got to be the concern going from corner to safety, is what kind of leader, what kind of tackler are you going to have back there at that position. So he answered that for sure. 2 interceptions, didn't really get tried much. The other safety did. That's why Kenny Mosley, maybe because of Aaron Hampton, Kenny Mosley got more opportunities both on offense and defense. 6 picks from Mosley, only 2 from Hampton, so that means they're probably throwing it at Mosley a whole lot more. Offensively, 1,200 yards combined with his rushing and receiving yards, and 10 total touchdowns. Like I said, offensively took a step down in production, but Kenny Mosley on the other side, his production goes up. So a threat on both sides, not only whether you throw it to him or not, but a hell of a decoy as well. One of those guys is a really good football player. Don't know what position he's going to play at Alabama, whether it's going to be corner or receiver. He's a receiver on Twitter. Athlete on 247, cornerback from the Alabama profile. So I don't know where this guy's going to land up at, but he's a great athlete, and it'll be very interesting to see how his career develops at Alabama. At number 35, senior wide receiver from Harmony, Tyson Jenkins. Tyson Jenkins, 42 catches, 820 yards, 16 touchdowns, and about 2 or 3 really sick one-handed catches this year. You could really tell he had a great trust from his quarterback, Boston Seahorn. He would just throw it up, whether it was in time of trouble or not. He was trying to find Jenkins. A run-dominant team. Boston had a lot of running yards. Their running back ran for over 1,200 yards this year, so not a whole lot of opportunities throwing the ball this year. But he did average 19.5 yards per catch, which is damn near 2 first downs every time he catches the ball. A guy that blocks for his teammate, a team player, but he is a dog. And that ball's in the air, he's going to grab it. Really aggressive in catching the football, and being such a big guy, really tough to bring down. So you see a lot of catch and runs from Tyson as well. Really impressed with it. I liked him last year. I don't think he made the list last year, but this year I was really impressed with what he did all throughout the year. One of those names that pop up all the time with really good highlights. So he comes in here at the list at number 35, Tyson Jenkins. At number 34, sophomore running back from Carthage, K.J. Edwards. 169 carries, 1,694 yards, 24 touchdowns on the ground, and a 10.1 YPC. Every time he touched the ball, he ran for a first down. Essentially, man, this dude is just fantastic. He is a fast football player, number one, a slasher as a runner. But last year it was more just a perimeter-based type runner, just obviously a freshman body wasn't developed. This year he was toting that football inside, outside, running through people, around people, by people, however he needed to get it done. Really phenomenal sophomore season, one of the tough and one of the highest placements of a sophomore, especially a running back. Just to compare, Taylor Tatum was number 80 his sophomore year on this list. So this guy, I think, is special, and I think he is going to have every single offer in the world that he possibly wants by the time he is by the time next year. And really impressed with him, and really impressed with his speed, and really impressed with his vision. I think he's a really good football player. Grade him out here at as a 95, I think a 96 actually. A really good football player here from Carthage, and I think he'll just continue to grow. Really good football player, K.J. Edwards. At number 33, junior safety, wide receiver from Kilgore, Javon Towns. 8 interceptions for a guy that's about 5'5", 155 pounds. 94 tackles from the guy with that same body and frame. And I think that's the most impressive thing to me about Javon Towns. One, he's ball hawk for sure. If the ball's coming around him, he's going to make a play on it. And then number 2, how sure of a tackler this guy was for his size. I got a chance to see Towns at Longview his first 2 years, and he's all of those things that I just mentioned. None of this what he did over there at Kilgore surprised me. I think he would have did it at Longview if he would have stayed over here. He's a really good football player. Makes guys miss, whether it be in the kick game, after interception, after catching a bubble. He is just like freaking electric after he has the ball in his hands. And then, like I said, that sure tackling and those 8 interceptions, can't deny this guy. At number 33, Javon Towns. At number 32, a 2-time member of the list, almost made it his sophomore year, Dyllan, Drummond, 6'4", 280 pounds, out of Chapel Hill, Texas. Man, this guy is a phenomenal player. The UNLV signee. This guy is it's been really fun to watch him progress throughout the years. He started out as a sophomore, about 6'3", 235, 240 pounds, but he is matured to about 208, 285 pounds now. 6'4", so I don't know if he'll play tackle on the next level. Usually 6'3", 6'4", you're probably a guard or a center, which I think probably would suit him, because usually those tackles are 6'6" to like 6'8" at the next level. He could definitely play tackle. He has the mobility and speed. I'm just forecasting what I think he'll be for the next year. And I really feel like he's one of those guys that has the potential to play on Sunday, only because he's going to continue to grow, continue to get stronger, continue to add muscle and mass to his body, and then he's a really good football player on top of all that. And so if he goes to UNLV, starts 3 or 4 years there, who's to say he won't be playing for the Vegas Raiders after so long? Man, he is a really good football player. I really think the world of his progression and how he's come across, even though I haven't had anything to do with it, it's been fun to cover. And he comes in here at number 32, Dyllan Drummond. And at number 31, a senior offensive tackle from Kilgore, Braden Nelson. The North Texas commit joins Christian Petway from Lindale. Those 2 guys, 2 offensive tackles from East Texas going to North Texas. And Braden Nelson is a mauler. Let's start with that. He is going to come off the ball and try to absolutely kill whoever's in front of him. That's number 1. Number 2, he has extremely good feet, extremely good hands, and is an extremely good pass blocker. One of those things that caught my eye at the Kilgore East Texas camp that we had this past spring. And he's a guy that I just saw move the best, was the biggest, move the best, was the best pass protector, and knew Braden Nelson was headed for a big senior year. And he did just that, bookend in the line for Kilgore, the bell cow for them, and he's just an absolute stud for him. Be interesting to see what happens at North Texas. Be interesting to see if we can have 2 tackles, be the offensive lineman there at North Texas with him, Petway, going to North Texas. But nonetheless, a really good football player, and comes in here at number 31, Braden Nelson.